Good morning. Or whatever it is, wherever you are. Processing did take less than 24 hours. So we should now have a local copy of this stuff for all of our recent history here. I guess, well, I was looking at this one because this is where I spent most of my time yesterday. Although I don't think my twins' camp is quite been published yet. So, things we need to do. So that's a longer term project. We need to copy files. I need to add map processing to the server. I think that's going to be fairly small because it's going to be in a little phase. We need to set up to copy archives to S3. We need to, well, setting up the UI is more of this thing. UI for controlling ActMap. I guess really I should focus on getting the data up there and processing. Because that's going to take some time, and then it needs to be up there before we can enable working with it. So for the server, we're fine. For the database, we're fine. I can end up with an extra console here. Now, Bundler is unhappy because it's saying we should be pointing at master. We're not pointing at master. What was I doing here? I was messing around with that stuff. And we had some note updates. I guess we should do... All right, so for this to be looking at our updated code, we have to say this is going to be good. And I keep forgetting to clear all this stuff out from my local excludes. How does that work? There's all my little miscellaneous scripts, which... Well, I guess I'm saying minus -ilibs. I probably could dump into a little extra directory. Oh, this went to scripts. Okay, whatever. All right, so all my little one-off inquiry things. Some of these might actually be some position relative stuff. Some of these actually were very one-time. I'm only need 2 windows. Jeez. I see, it's like scene tiles is actually not really useful so much anymore. Okay, so that's just modified stuff. All right, so Neo. Actually, I think just like a bundle check will update the pointer. Yes, so now you'll be able to run stuff on that code base. It's all the way down to local disk, geez. No, data server. So you are going to be map logs. And I think, maybe I should check this, but I think the only thing that really changed was, effectively changed, was the extra step there. Okay. And to include activity map, we have to have a path for it, which those used to be separate, now they're no longer separate, so we have to create an act map, and we have to call process for it. And I think that's about it. Yeah, no processing enabled. We just flip all of those comments back. I put map log. So you're almost more like final placement. Map log path. Map process. So map log. Oh, actually, this might end up being a little bit different. Okay, act map path, file system. You don't need objects. So that's test code, and then act map.process. Okay, you also have these little turn off things here. So actual testing of that will have to, weird. Will have to happen on like tomorrow's data or something. But I can run it just to make sure it works. There's no like obvious syntax errors. output. Did I actually call it activity map? Yeah, it was actually activity map. And I did actually do this down here. Okay. No work to do right now. Oh, yeah, I've got to uncheck your PNG. Some other dependency updates. Notes. I guess I actually have to publish this at some point. Set up copy. Release automatic server updates. So if I try to tell it to sync everything, it's going to be a lot of paths for it to process. So I think what I want is something like a bash script. I don't think I currently have anything like that here. So either inu or I think the things that I've done like this before. Where was that? Could have been on the other computer. And maybe that stuff didn't even get copied. Which actually I should probably clean up some of these old things too sometime. Okay, so you're just strict data. No, this is the new one. And KP, your strict data. No. Did I keep my old processing directories? Yeah, we did some of this stuff. Now this was to like create it. So here's our server list. We only got one server. That's calling map. That's in an explicit list. This does give me a little bit of shell syntax to work with. I guess you're about as good a place as any. So my Ruby stuff has the paths set up. I probably could use that to script some S3 commands. I need to do some kind of foreign path. So from here, All map, public, 17? No, PL 17. PL 17 star AM. So I actually want this to be like minus D. So it's giving those to me with a trailing slash. Is there an option to not do that? C style, C time, I think if it's piped, it'll understand color. Directories themselves, Emacs DIRD mode. Oh, I'm in this console, unfortunately. Well, I guess any of these consoles can give me the help. Yeah. Never quite found something I was doing anyway that also people wanted to pay for. Or /D. Maybe I misspelled it. Nope. Same output. Do not sort. Disable color. AU. Okay, dot directories. Do not sort. Okay, don't want indicator. Cross columns horizontal, single column for most vertical. Forced work. Oh, yeah. PE's. I never even thought about PE with remote education. Sizes. Yeah, I can imagine, because that's something you really just have to do at some time, and when they're looking at you is the only time they can check that. Bye. Long listing format, fill width. So that's minus P. Can I say indicator style none? Okay. No. So bash script, iterate, files, directories. File, oh, you've got your own. And then there's tests we can do to see if it's a direct. Well, no, if we get their pattern right, that shouldn't matter. But I'm going to have to do the echo to see. Now, that excludes folders. So I need to be able to reverse that. Yeah. In ddev whole map. Public PL 17 star AM. Do okay, and that actually is the format we want. So what we actually want to do, let's see, in an S3 command has like a dry run option, which, I mean, even dry run with this many files is going to be kind of a giant thing. So many options. Minus dry run. All right. We know they're not there, so we can do a put. From file name, since this is a put, this has to be recursive. To I might have to do a fancier script here in order to get. Well, I guess for every directory we assume there's an AM, and then maybe some of those commands will fail. Because I have to be able to say from file name am to, and then that last part will get copied in there. Oh, I need the part. Maybe. What if we did, because it's going to be in the local shell. Okay, that will give me the relative path. Oh, but that doesn't. I know I need to filter for directories. And I've got a few extra directories in there. So normally when I put it up to a certain file name, it will copy that trailing file name into the directory I specify on the other part. Maybe it's only if it's a trailing slash on that, and if I say like AM to AM, it would work. No trailing slashes. How do I terminate a... exit? Destination S3 URL must end with a slash. So it's not quite that easy. Okay, yeah, so I had these extra directories. If I... And really, I guess I just don't need these anymore. So now, if I can get these down to just directories... but I'm still forgetting about AM. We have to be it. I need just these. Okay, file name /am into the directory specified there. And I just don't want to, it's still gonna have to think about this. And then you have to have the trailing slash. Okay, so actually, yeah, the first one was not too bad. It did string order. It was a rift, so there was not many tiles in most of them. And then it kind of has to think about all of the successive things. And that is taking a little while just to process everything. Oh, exact paths. Tiles, PL 17. I believe that is correct. So I'm just going to get you a whole separate console. Because this is going to be going for a while. And I think I actually have the bandwidth to do this without interrupting stream. Actually, let me get... I mean, I've got the alarm, but... do I even have that layer on here? Might check status monitor. I guess I can leave it up there. I mostly wanted to make it extra visible, have a source up. Okay. Scripts. And it's crunching away. That could take days for all I know. So you are in process. I want that all updated, and I have to also do the index file. Upload ActMap index file. Once we get to the end, we know how the sync works out. Then we can have this thing checking it all the time. Indexes, I think, are a front-end optimization for later. And actually, I've got I made the index files that I hope will work. ActMap index files. I mean, this might kind of fall into the same bucket of work, but I think we still got a little bit left to do here. I think this should be toggleable where it's overlapping other stuff. And maybe, well, I guess I turned off biomes, but maybe you don't want that. It could perhaps, well, you can't view object search at this detail, at least at this time. I'm thinking it might do a zoom cutoff, similar to the generated object detail. Because one of the main purposes of this was to identify stuff at large scale. Once we get down to here, you can kind of make out some structure. So I think, let's see, activity map sample size. Does it really be like activity map? Well, like activity map settings. It's like we're going through and doing all its options. So what if we did like, well, I guess we want to send the message before you tried to implement it there. Although the message is called sample size. This would be like show activity map below zoom would be the control for it. Oh, they come in pairs. Okay, it's still a zoom. Because we copied a zoom thing. It's just a string. We need to expose you. All right, that means we could add a control for you. And this probably is going to default to disappearing at close, since it is supposed to be that large scale thing. And if you want to go in and look at this, you could turn it on. A little bit unsure about that. This control is going to need a value, which is going to have to be in the model. Oh, is this still an above zoom? Yeah, it's a little bit above and below is kind of weird, but I want it to possibly disappear at the point those are appearing. Maybe 24? No, let's show it below. Yeah, below and above is a little weird. That's going to be one of the limits. So to have that slider, it has to, well, I can either define the message or I can define the slider with a dummy message. Select natural objects. Oh, is that okay? Yeah, that's what we called it. Select activity map zoom. And when that exists, the main program has to map UI. That's loaded. So that was a saved state. I don't think we need to do that. And I was never sure if I needed to save that. Activity map zoom. So activity map below zoom, below zoom. That should be a compilable program. Perhaps a little bit more like that one. Actually, maybe I should separate them too. I was wondering if the two zoom things should be together. Uh, 2432. It is technically below. I'm probably going to want to call that the level where it is visible. 31 is fine. It's a little bit weird that it's not one-to-one with the other one, but the point of 32 was to make it so you could set an impossible value for above zoom. This is never going to be completely toggleable. I guess I could make it 23, so you could step back once any of that stuff shows up. All right, now other side. I might want to go ahead and use the same function for this, because I'm going to have to do a lot of the same things. Am I remembering... What do I call this? Sample size? ActMap sample size. Okay, so this is, that's a detailed thing. This actually is an option. Actually, I could zoom offset, zoom offset, zoom offset. I could actually have activity map options. And then this is going to be max zoom as well. We're still going to want to merge it so that we're getting independent copy. But all of these, well, the time is going to be different. I guess I should focus on the changeable things. Oh, even you calculated a zoom offset. I thought from our global default size, but we like just defined this here. Why art thou not happy? Because we didn't put this parenthesis. That could almost be a function too, just of, well, in the loop I was able to reuse zoom offset a little bit. But I did have the problem that all this stuff was duplicated between those two places. And it's not the end of the world if we actually do a little bit of recalculation. And I think, yeah, actually all of these settings are going to be the same for every layer. So you could just be a function of sample size Yeah, I was thinking of doing a thing like this where you just kind of, oh, so that you could save the settings and then reapply them. Oh. Yeah. So this is going to turn into having another parameter. Is what's going to happen. Which we're going to have to remember. I was thinking, okay, yeah, we have the options object. Similar to this, we save the values. the current values of them in there. If we need to reapply something, which is the reason to have the static object. So it's like when we get this, we would update these fields. When we got that, we would update those fields. Well, it bothered me that this code was duplicated before, so that's probably fine. So actually, we want to do like var options equals actmap. Actmap sample size. And then this dumps all of this stuff. And what were we using? There is a version of it, I think. This is a... Object. Dot, please. Assign. I guess we're assigning to a new object is what we're doing. Add map layer options. It's a different parenthesis set. Okay, then I don't need you anymore. We assign that. We set up options. Set options, which just becomes this. You'll be watching for JavaScript errors again. Okay, that still seems to be working. And now, I'd have to do the extra merge to, if this is a separate function, it only needs that. Let's adjust scale options. But I am going to be setting these things differently, so why do I have this argument here? And you weren't touching it. And 24 is actually a different setting we were using before, so actually I probably would in a place where that wasn't visible. Yeah, so that's how that default view is going to work. And actually, my current default settings, that's not going to show up. What I might be able to do now is have a farther out view and go, hey, we can't necessarily show everything, but now we can say, here's the big picture on, or we can't show off that we have all this detail. But here's the big world, the big picture of Winara One Life. So that's a thing to think about. I guess I don't need to keep... I kept this around. In case it gets used here. I don't know if I'm actually doing dynamic creation, but I guess just in case. Set activity map sample size. So, the disadvantage of, well, I could still have the same function for you. I might still need to do this reset view thing. I don't know. I probably just use some kind of generic layer options for the object visible zoom. Yeah, object layer options. Because they're all object layers. Maybe I would end up doing all of this stuff, but I could have like activity map options. And then this stuff would move up to the handlers. Set activity map options. And then you would be options. Okay, it flickers. But it doesn't turn off. Maybe I messed up. Leaflet. Because I copied this.